It's your boy Eclectic Enigma, and this is Fridaywrapup, special edition where I'm only going to talk about one topic.
But you're getting the questions from the shooter. You want to expect me to talk, bro?
Oh.
Hey, Rick! Gosh, dang! On your face!
So, when you first saw that video of the pool party in McKinney, Texas, what were your thoughts?
There was anger, rage, disappointment, fury, just a whole plethora of emotions that was going through me at that time. I couldn't believe it. I was like, is this for real? Is he really slamming this girl to the ground? Is he really dragging this young lady? Is he really putting his knees on her back? Is he really going to stay there? And then when he pulls the gun out on the kids, my heart jumped because I'm like, oh my God, not again, And we shouldn't feel like that, It wasn't warranted at all. So just so many emotions running through my mind when I saw that as a husband and father, just disbelief,
Yeah, you said it like as a husband and a father. So we both in our early 30s. And we're not innocent. We've done our things. So in college, y'all had situations where y'all were at pool parties and had gatherings and things like that, right? And it's crazy when you think about it. Could have been any of us. Have you thought about stuff like that?
I've thought about it being anybody I've known at a pool party, just anybody I've known, honestly. And I also thought about how quickly that could have went south, or how an accidental shooting could have happened, or something of that nature. We've had people get shot with somebody thinking it's a taser. Thinking they had a taser when they actually pulled that gun. So he pulling his gun out on some kids in that kind of environment, not even needed. What would we be talking about now had the gun gone off? And that's the type of thing I think about. It could have been anybody I've known ever going to a pool party. People, jumping in the pool, or cannonballing when they're not supposed to, signs posted, or dunking each other, just anything. And if you want to respect authority, but every kid does something that they shouldn't be doing, or challenge authority at some point. It's just something that happens, and something you got to go through, and there's a learning process involved in it. But I can't imagine a bunch of police officers showing up and one of them just going berserk like this guy.
So it's really a battle, though, because a lot of stuff going on. The kids, they do a lot of things that provoke and make everyone, especially people our age and older, say like, "What the hell's going on with these kids?" And then the police are doing things to make us say, "What the hell's going on with the police?" So, what can we do as citizens, U.S. citizens, to stand up? Everybody's doing protests and everything. So what can we do? What do you think it will take for everyone to kind of just get?
Well, I think there's going to have to be some acceptance. And part of that is that people know there's racism, but I feel like when a black person points out racism, they get told they're pulling this race card that don't even exist. It's like, oh, you're only saying that because you're black. And that's not the case. I'm saying it because it's the truth, and you just don't want to hear it. And then there's the people who don't want to be involved in race. Like, we're all part of a human race. We were different colors and different nationalities and stuff, but at the same time, we all bleed the same color. And if you don't, then I need to find you so I can sell you on eBay. That's how I feel about it, because you probably, came from a ship somewhere. But in all seriousness, we're the same. We all have to pay bills. We all, go to work, or we all, some of us stay home. But that's every color. It's not just limited to black or white or yellow or red or any color. It's all of us go through all these things, and when it's disproportionate that this kind of mistreatment happens to one hue of people, then you should probably realize that, maybe there is something bigger here. Maybe you should start doing a little research yourself and see that it's disproportionate. And we're not talking about, we're talking about this kind of thing with the anger and the rage toward blacks in America. We're talking about the murder of different African Americans, male and female, they keep happening. And it's not when they have a weapon that we're talking about. We're talking about unarmed people. That's where the thing it comes in. We're not talking about people that pulled out guns or have weapons necessarily. But there have been cases where somebody might have had a knife and they were shot 63 times, which should be excessive, but that doesn't seem to bother you at all. That's okay. Or somebody getting on top of a car, emptying clips and reloading to fire some more at people who don't even have a weapon. These are things that disproportionately happen to a certain race or a certain color of people in America. And some people aren't listening. Some people are getting it. And I see in McKinney now, I've seen some protests, peaceful protests online where it's not just black people, it's white people, and there's some other colored people there that they get it, And it seems like the kids there get it too. It's the adults that seem to have the problem. This hate towards somebody that is different than you, it's a learned behavior. You can see kids playing together all day, but when you find out a kid is being mean towards somebody with a different color, it's usually because they learned it somewhere. They got it from their parents or grandparents or something that, because this person is different, then we need to hate them or dislike them, or they're going to be like this automatically because they have this kind of hairstyle, they have these tattoos on their arms, so they can't be any kind of a good person. And it's all idiotic, if you ask me. Until that person gives you a reason, not other people that look like that person. But until that person gives you a reason to hate them or dislike them, then you shouldn't treat them that way, Because if that was the case, then KKK still exists. We don't put all Caucasian people in the bucket with KKK, because I feel like because there's some blacks that act a certain way or do certain things, then you want to say, well, it's because of them. Well, why blacks aren't saying, you act like that because of the KKK, or you got to be racist because of the KKK. No. What we're saying now is you don't listen. You don't want to hear it. And that's not everyone. I don't want you to think I'm talking about everyone. I'm just saying it seems like as a whole, and based off numbers and surveys they've done, there's a certain amount of people in the United States that don't think there's any problem with race. But a higher percentage believes that racism exists. I don't even know how that can be possible, but until we can sit down and have these hard discussions about race and racism, and until Black history is seen as American history and is actually put in the books instead of limited to a 28-day month where they talk about the same thing every year, I don't know what's going to happen. Because when I see us as people get together as a whole, when we get together and dance, I mean, it's all different people. We all bring so many different things to the table. We can learn from each other, and it's beautiful when I see it. Like, I live in Memphis, so on Beale Street, seeing different colored people dancing together and just having a good time, and there's no issue. So why is there issues when it comes to some color sometimes, It's deep rooted hate, and then as far as the police, stuff like this make people not trust the police, And again, back as a father, there's no reason that little girl should have got done like that. at all. And it angers me to my very bones that there are people that think it was okay, and they're online, saying that this is officer did his job. And there was one principal that got fired. Well, yeah, he got fired for saying that he thought the officer feared for his life, so he did what he had to do. Really? Fear for his life? If he feared for his life, he didn't deserve to be a cop in that situation. And I don't care who gets mad about it. I don't, because there's no way he should have feared for his life. Angry, miffed, fine, but fear for his life, no.
What's going to happen if change doesn't happen?
Change is going to have to happen. It can't not happen. That's how I look at it. And I'm one of those people that believe once these conversations happen, and, instead of me telling you my side of the story and you telling me why my side of the story is wrong, you deciding to do a little research yourself and see that it, redlining happens and gentrification happens, and these things actually happen, and you might not even know what they are because you don't have to deal with them. I mean, think about parts of the city where you live or town where you live where you never go, and if it wasn't on the news, you wouldn't even know it happened because it doesn't affect you. Or somebody dies and you look at the paper and it doesn't affect you because you didn't know that person, so you don't necessarily care. It's like, oh, okay, somebody died. But if you knew that person, it would affect you differently. Or if you cared, it would affect you differently. It's the same thing when it comes to racism. You got to understand that there's people that are hurting, and they've been through things that you can't even imagine going through because you've never been put in that situation. If you're not black or Latino or, black or Latino mostly, but you probably haven't been pulled over because of the color of your skin, or followed in a store because of the color of your skin, or people have made the assumption that you're not going to tip them because of the color of your skin, and they give you bad service at a restaurant, or they seat you somewhere totally different. These are things you don't have to even deal with, and this is just little irritating stuff. We're not going to the big stuff like your name keeps you from getting a job, and because they assume you're a certain color, a certain ethnicity, and these are all horrible things, and you shouldn't be okay with them, no matter who you are. And these are the type of things we're telling you about. And then you go to the big stuff as far as dealing with police, how you can go on how you can go on YouTube and see these open carry nut jobs carrying these AR-15 rifles around and yelling at cops, and the cops just let them go on about their way. But a little girl who's 14 gets a little mouthy with you and you want to slam her on the ground, or you pull up on a black guy that has a gun and you want to throw him on the ground and ask for his permit and all that kind of stuff. It should go both ways, That's just how I feel about it.
Any last words as we wrap up?
Well, I want people to have the hard conversations. They're hard, They're very difficult to have these kind of conversations with people. But if you come in and you're not willing to listen, and you're going to assume certain things automatically, and you haven't done any research, then yeah, you might feel like somebody black is playing a race card. And I'm going to tell you, from a black guy, I really wish there was a race card sometimes so I could pull it. But it doesn't exist, There are so many things we deal with that we just deal with because that's the way they are. And sometimes I feel like certain people aren't going to change or don't want to change. But if we're going to move forward and deal with the real big issues of this country, well, I'm sorry, race is a huge issue. But there are so many things that, as a whole, the middle class and lower middle class and poor class need to fix in this country that the rich just control and do. We got to do that together, It's not just something that black people can do, or white people, or Hispanics or any of that. It's something everybody, we have to come together. And if you hate me because of the color of my skin, it's going to be kind of hard to do that. And that's just, it's sad. And I hate seeing it. I would love for us to just come together. Maybe some artists can come together and make a unity fest, you know, just people from all over the world, all over the United States just come together, one big party, and we just have it and have, you know, maybe some booths set up where people just have these hard talks. Because they need to be had. Some of it is just not understanding. And that's fine, but you got to listen too. And I'm not saying that, I don't want you to think I think everything a black person tells you all the time is always racist, because sometimes it's not. But the vast majority of the time it is, and you don't want to listen. So, of course, when it is, and you've heard sometimes it's not, but really majority of the time, we're not exaggerating. We're being pretty honest. And if you've never had to deal with it, of course, you know, you might think it's minuscule, but some of this stuff, it's exhausting, you know? But, yeah, if we could come together, have these tough conversations, and move toward fighting some other things, some other fights that we as a nation, as a class of people financially have. You know, I don't know what could happen, but I don't know if even people even want that. I hope that, you know, I hope somebody watches this video and understands, you know, that we want to have these conversations and we want to move forward. But I just go back, because you got to understand the history of things, which history is not even an important topic. But when you don't understand the history of certain things, then it's kind of hard for you to understand why they are the way they are now. Stuff you're getting taught for Black History Month, if anything, you don't even care, because it doesn't affect you. And you can probably only name Martin Luther King, maybe Malcolm X, and Rosa Parks, and that's the extent of your Black history. But I just give you a little piece of something. You know, somebody invented a light bulb, but who wrote the patent for it? It's probably pretty important, that person that wrote that patent. Not going to give you the name, look it up. But that's what it takes for you to understand that there's more than just the surface stuff. It's deep-rooted issues, and if you don't understand the roots of it, you know, you can't understand any of it. You'll think that, you know, on the outside it's a certain way, but it actually is. It's not as deeper than that. So, yeah, that's all I got to say about it.